Hey everyone! Welcome to the first popcast of the Lazy Paddler Investor Show, a segment which we will figure out what to call it later. We're calling today's show, though, Stranger Things in the Water, and that's the theme because we'll be discussing Stranger Things, Ghostbusters, its thematic progenitor, and actual real-world strange things we have found in the water while paddling, because we are paddlers both. I'm Harlan Bea, and I'm in seat one today.
And I'm Naya, and I'll be his seat two, following him.
All right, so let's kick this off. Naya is a huge fan of all kinds of science fiction and fantasy content, and so am I. But now the field is so wide. The field is so wide that it's hard to have commonalities, and it's hard to have seen all the same things and read all the same things. Like when we were kids growing up, everyone saw the same stuff. Like everyone saw Ghostbusters that was our age, right?
Yeah.
It was just the thing you saw, right? But these days, I just recently learned that Naya had not seen Stranger Things. And so I was like, oh, you got to do that. And I think that would make a great inaugural discussion for our first show.
Yeah.
Because as part of the lazy paddler investor content, I think it's important for us to enjoy the things that we enjoy, right? It's important to be fans of things,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so if you can't enjoy something, why could you invest in it, right? So let's figure out the things that we
Yeah.
enjoy. Let's figure out the things that we love, and let's talk about your experience getting into Stranger Things. So you literally started recently, right, with the first one.
Yeah. I started, I think, 2 days before Christmas, and I just basically binge watched every season up till the one that they're going to bring out. And it was like when I was like, I remember texting you. I'm like, oh my God, where the hell has this been my whole life? Where has this been? And you knowing me as much as you do the past couple of years, we paddled together, we're teammates, we spend a lot of time together. So I love 80s. I love the 80s. And
Yeah,
it
which is
just
why I was so shocked. I was so shocked that you had not seen this.
and so it just went together. So, it just like it was like being in my first OC1. It was just that like, oh my God. It was like this, where the hell this is my new thing. This is my new thing. I'm sorry. It is. Um, and just to see the progression. Now, I feel like I've had a better understanding or better experience than other people because they've had to sit and wait for season 2 to come out or season 3 to come out. Me, I just got to watch it from start to where we are now. So it was like, oh, I can actually see the progression. I actually get to see it um, continuously
Yeah,
instead
you
of
get to see the
breaking up.
kids grow up, but
Yeah,
but what you did miss out on was some of the kind of social media talk about it as
yeah,
it was going on, and some of the fan side conversations and the headcanon that people
yeah,
have about the show from the time when it was initially released. So I
yeah.
remember season one, was it Barb?
Barb. Yeah, Barb,
Barb
Barb.
Barb
Yeah,
was the one who like went to go help her friend
yeah.
and then got sucked into
Upside
the
down.
upside down. And then people fucking forgot about her. And the online community went fucking nuts because they're like, she's the only good person on the show. Why did she get treated like this?
Well, I mean, you when that whole like episode started, and then it was like, what just happened? Like you see, creepy guy, um, and I have, which is funny because I have all the characters here, so I can remember their names.
Oh, I know. I should
Yeah.
pull it up actually.
So Jonathan, with his camera went to go, take pictures, and because apparently he was trying to find Will, but he tracks Nancy, and it's kind of like stalkerish. I'm sorry, it seems so stalkerish,
Oh
but
yeah,
but
definitely.
but I felt like in every scene there was it was foreshadowing something to come. So I knew that there was a reason why he was in there, reason why he was in the woods, and for all intent purposes, I did not see Nancy and Steve breaking up. I thought Steve and Nancy should have gotten back together. I'm sorry. But the character development was just so weird,
They did
I
they did they did spend a lot of time together, and they developed a good high school relationship. I actually disagree. I kind of like that they weren't together because I loved Steve's interactions in season 3
oh,
at the what was that ice cream shop he worked at?
the Ships Ahoy,
Ships Ahoy. Oh my gosh. And the character at Ships Ahoy,
Robin.
wow, you're good at this. Okay, because you've got the list there. I obviously did not prepare properly for this conversation. Yes, Robin.
The one who turns out that she was not attracted to the male species.
That's oh right, I totally forgot about that. That's totally perfect. That's perfect for him because like he's that guy, right? He's that guy who will like fuck up every single relationship he ever has until he's like 32 and people are like, "Dude, but you're like you seem like a normal guy." And he's like, "I've seen some shit."
Well, he also hangs out with like kids younger than him. So I mean, now he's like their babysitter best friend.
Yeah, well, so do we.
What but what happened? Like, how did he go from this like, yeah, I'm the babysitter of these, munchkins who are fighting supernatural entities to, okay, now I'm friends with them. We go off and we do this shit, and then
I like that though. I like that progression of his character. So my kids go to school at a high school where they will very often work with people who are not in their own classes and who are of different age ranges to do projects, right?
okay,
So they're the way they work is very project based, and so it's sort
yeah.
of tiered. And so my kids are more used to this sort of idea of having friends who are a lot younger than them or a lot older than them, working with people who are a lot older on projects, maybe people from industry and stuff like that. And so like I know that most people think that's really weird in in high school, but I
Yeah.
think it's great. It shows it shows a growth and maturity in his character that he can
Yeah.
chill and hang out with the youngins and just be totally fine with it.
I mean, I didn't see that coming, but I mean, it's a little bit weird. Like,
It
you
is a
know,
little bit weird.
because it just, you got Max there now. You got all these characters who are coming together, which I have to say, I love the fact that they started with 4 and expanded people into their group.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
which I liked because now their community is growing, just like as we've seen in real life with our paddling community and the people that we help. We grow, we bring in people. Sometimes they stay, sometimes they go. Uh, but it's so good as an underlying, you know, thing in that story to see, friendships building and bringing new people and fostering those relationships as well as not forgetting the people who are already in your inner circle.
Yeah, I think that's something that you can do on a television show that you a lot of times feel like I feel like when I watch movies, that's not developed as much.
No.
I think a lot of television, and lately these days I'm watching a ton of Korean dramas. So if when I refer to Korean dramas on this, you're gonna just have to get used to it if you're watching us. So in Korean dramas, they have this very structured sort of set of tropes that they will follow.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is this idea of friends and family, constantly being together and talking together,
Mm-hmm.
where to the point where it's weird to a Western viewer. Like, it was weird to me at first when I'm watching. I'm like, why are they having all these conversations sitting around the dinner table? And then I realized that this is the way that they want people to see their culture, right? This
Mm-hmm.
is the way, as a director, they want people to see their characters. And so
Yeah.
for us, a lot of our Western sort of stylings are, if you want to build friendships, those friendships are built on television. If you want
Mm-hmm.
to see horror or action or friendships falling apart or relationships falling apart, that generally happens in movies. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, when you think about like the Oscars or
Yeah.
these sorts of awards shows, they're often these horrible, horrible, and I don't mean that bad in terms of
Yeah.
quality of performance, by the way. I
Yeah.
just mean horrible experiences. If I had to go through these experiences of these characters, it's like Hotel Rwanda, Schindler's List,
Yeah.
Kramer versus Kramer. I'm like, oh.
You would be fucked up to say nonetheless, right?
Yeah, right. But on television, you can develop these friendships and you can develop a community where, like,
Yeah.
you can't really do that in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. And I see what you're saying. And funny you should mention that, because that brings me back to Stranger Things, where they had so many scenes, especially um, in Mike's house, where they're at the dinner table,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and 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 then I'm thinking, you know what? 80s culture was more like that, as
yeah,
far as, America is concerned, I believe. I
yeah.
was born in 79, so I can't really talk about what went on in the 80s, but, you know,
Well, you can. I mean, you were a kid in the 80s. I mean, I
yeah,
can talk about things that happened in the 70s. I barely remember, but
yeah,
I
uh,
kind of remember, you
yeah.
know?
But it gives this idea that families were sitting at tables, enjoying meals,
Oh, they were
talking and
sitting at
stuff.
tables that they were not enjoying
But
meals.
I know, but it makes it look like they were, like they have their bucket of KFC or their like little, Pizza Hut pizza, it's like, they look like they, the all American family. And then you go off and they play in the streets and, oh, just come back when the street lights come on and stuff
That
like
part
that.
was true. Like, you didn't do that? Did you not do
What?
that?
What, play in the streets till dark or?
Or after dark?
I lived in a town called Plainville, where I lived off the main road, which is Route 1A. And if you go turn off, I had a gravel dirt road and my house was brownie brown
Okay.
in the middle of, woods. So,
Okay.
I never got to play in the streets with other kids. I was the weird girl who liked to read and draw and write poetry
So
and go with
y-
my dad.
you didn't like go out and do crazy stuff in the forest?
Oh yeah, we had I built a little fort that my brother's gonna kill me. When we got older and we were trying to sell our house, I don't know what happened, but he went out there and apparently the fort caught on fire when we're trying to sell the house, and my dad and him were running, into our woods while the poor realtor lady is in our house trying to be like, I have an appointment
Oh,
set.
you mean like literally as you were trying to host?
And they ran out and they were putting out the fire. I didn't know our fort burned down because I was somewhere with my friend.
You're like, it wasn't me.
I was not there, you know. But I'm just like, I mean, Plainville is nice. I mean, it is, when they did the in the last season, when they did that shot at night and you saw all those trees
Yeah.
and something's moving around, and Will's parents, I think, were up in the Ferris wheel. That's what Plainville looked like. It has all these pine trees and stuff. So
Okay.
I was like, hey, that could be my neighborhood.
Okay. So I had like a very more suburban growing up, but so definitely latchkey kind of style. So I would get home and I'd be on my own, and then I would stay home until my mom got there, and
Uh-huh.
then very often I would just fucking leave. I would bolt, and I'd just be like tooling around the streets, hanging out with my friends. Like like there was a lot of me just disappearing and eventually coming back, and people were really chill about it back then. And I mean, I wish we could be as chill about it now, but it's not the same world, I guess.
But see, you had a different upbringing than me because my father played on the New England Patriots. My last name, if I went missing, I would be brought home in 2 seconds. You
Yeah, yeah,
know,
no, if I went missing, no one would know who the hell I was.
I was one of three Samoans in an all-white town. I mean, come on. It's not really hard. I couldn't hide, is
You
what I'm
couldn't
saying,
hide, yes,
as much as I wanted to.
as much as you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
All
So
right, so
no,
speaking of friendships, I think we should probably switch over to talking about Ghostbusters and the new
yeah,
Ghostbusters film that came out recently.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so
what shall we say about this?
what should we say about the new Ghostbusters film? I don't know if I have all my thoughts composed on it yet. I I don't know what was your general impression of it?
Well, I went into it trying not to have a judgmental thought in my head because I've seen Ghostbusters, the original, and Ghostbusters, the two, right?
Hmm.
Then I saw the remake with the women. Only Kate McKinnon. I loved Kate McKinnon in that all-female cast. That was the only person I liked in that cast.
What was that one called? Was that also called Ghostbusters?
Yes, that was also called
That's so
Ghostbusters.
confusing. I was like trying to remember the name of it. I'm like, it was just Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
So
And
Ghostbusters 2019 or 2018 or something?
yeah. This one, I really didn't have any high hopes for
Hmm.
because what are they going to do? And obviously they did what I thought they would do. They were playing upon the original Ghostbusters. If you watch the movie, which if you haven't, I'm going to spoil it now.
Yeah, yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, it's Egon's granddaughter. you know? So,
Well, I mean, that's not really spoiling it because like if you have seen the original movie,
you know.
you know pretty
Yeah,
quickly that
that's
it's
it.
Egon.
Yeah. But it was you saw the character, you saw her coming out, and they followed, and they brought, the character back that they did in Ghostbusters 1, the bad character, the Keymaster, and, yeah. And I did, however, think that they tried to do a good job with the story and keeping Egon and his character alive and that legacy alive with him.
Yeah.
But I just I don't know. I did like it. I did like it. It wasn't my favorite. Would I go see it again? No. But here's my pet peeve about it.
Yeah.
Here's my pet peeve. If you're going to bring back every character, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, Dan Aykroyd, Annie Potts, Sigourney Weaver at the end, spoiler alert, you need to bring back Rick Moranis in there too.
Oh shit.
He played Lewis in the original one, and they didn't bring him back. If you're going to bring back the whole cast, you got to bring him back. I'm sorry. That's...
You know, I hope Rick Moranis doesn't take offense to this, but I didn't notice that he wasn't there. I did feel his presence though, because he was so good in it, right? As like the dog,
Yes.
right? Just him being that character, it was so iconic. I feel like as I was watching the other dude become the gatekeeper,
The other dude was Paul Rudd, by the way.
Paul Rudd, right, sorry. But I don't know his character name, like Mr. Smith or something.
Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever, yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Miller.
Whatever.
So when I was watching Paul Rudd take on that role, I was like, oh, he's not Rick Moranis. I do remember thinking that and going, wow, okay, it's okay that he's not going there, but Rick Moranis was so epic in it, and anyway,
that's just my feelings. I mean, I hate to admit this too. I did cry at the end when they all came back and you see the
it
ghost.
was moving.
And so I was like, I don't want to cry, damn it. I don't want to cry.
It was moving. Oh, come on. It's all right.
Not at Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's all right. You can cry at fuck yeah. I get choked up. Spider-Man 2 at the end.
Oh, God.
Every fucking time I watch it, I'm like, New York loves him. I love him. It's just like,
which I went to see, by the way, yesterday. By the way, so well, that's another podcast.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm talking about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2, not the other Spider-Man 2s.
Yeah, not the other 500 twos that they have.
But so here's my deal, and what I kind of wanted to say about Ghostbusters just in general. I literally grew up on a diet of Ghostbusters and Pepsi.
The Ecto Cooler. Did you grow up on the Ecto Cooler, High C?
High C? No. Pepsi.
Oh, Pepsi.
Pepsi and Ghostbusters, because whenever because my mom and dad were divorced, and whenever I would go over to my dad's house, it was one of the few tapes that we had. And I was like, let's watch Ghostbusters again. And I know my dad must have been like, again? Really? Because I'm
not going to say that Ghostbusters was bad. I love Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters, awesome. The song, not really a fan of the song.
Really? Do. No?
No, because they...
right. We discussed this. Yeah. We discussed this. I understand it. Yeah.
So, just a little background, people, of what we're talking about is, so I'm a big Huey Lewis and the News fan. And Harlan did not know that Hollywood came and approached Huey to do the soundtrack to the movie. And Huey passed. And, he didn't die, but he passed on.
He passed on that opportunity, yes.
And then a few months later, Ray Parker Jr. comes out with Ghostbusters, which sounds eerily similar or exactly similar to Huey Lewis and the News, Want a New Drug, that was on their sports album. And so controversy arose. So, and Harlan did not know that. I had to tell him that little tidbit.
Yeah, I'm not a huge music buff. Like if it comes across my Apple Music feed kind of thing, I'll grab it and put it on, but I don't pay attention to the industry really.
Yeah.
So it is unfortunate.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate, because I really did like that song. So I have a feeling I would have liked Huey Lewis more. I think I missed that arc.
Yeah. The song's great. I'm not going to, say it was bad or anything. It's just that one little thing in the back of my mind. I'm like,
but it colors it, right? It really says, oh, no, that's not.
Oh, that sucks, But, this ties in with Stranger Things, because Stranger Things had an awesome soundtrack.
Yeah, it really did.
All those 80s songs. So, but, Ghostbusters, this new one, I give it a 3 out of 5, maybe. Would I go see it again? Yes, probably, maybe. I don't know.
I don't necessarily know. I think everything these days, I weigh on would I watch this or would I just watch some more Korean dramas? And I'm leaning toward the Korean dramas. But the the thing about the movies is that you can kind of be one and done with them, so you can have the
Yeah,
experience. I mean, I do still appreciate movie making and like how
yeah.
awesome it is, but I want something in my movie that's got more impact, I guess, these days. Like I'm looking for stuff that's newer, but like I know a lot of people bemoan the fact that like we're kind of remaking ourselves to death in Hollywood
Uh-huh.
right now.
Yeah.
And but I don't. I actually think that this movie is very different from the original Ghostbusters. And let me get to the points about it that I really did like, because
Okay.
I loved the cross generational themes in it. Right. So you've got a deceased character
Yeah.
giving money to, well, not money, giving
A dirt
property,
farm.
a
A
dirt
dirt farm.
property, and responsibility for a
Mm.
horrible catastrophe to children and a mother with no fucking like support structure.
She was very ungrateful, by the way.
But I mean, when you think about this in terms of like overarching themes, like it's not
Yeah.
unlike how the world as a whole operates, right? You've got a bunch of old people dying and giving various catastrophes to their kids who are unprepared and even unaware of what those catastrophes are on the receipt of them,
Well,
right?
hold on, hold on.
And
I
I'm
have
not
to
just talking about climate or shit in the Middle East or China-Taiwan
yeah,
relations.
yeah. I gotta interject there. You always have that one person, like podcast, who has all this like history knowledge in them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
always
yeah,
have
yeah.
that one person.
And they're like,
That
wait, you haven't seen the YouTube
yeah.
video?
Yeah. Wait, you don't know about this? You know?
How can you not? It's kind of like because
It's like
I've been following the changes in China policy recently,
yeah.
and I mean, and this is nothing new, but in China,
Yeah.
you know that they don't allow talk about Tiananmen Square and the massacre in Tiananmen Square, right?
Oh no, because that would be wrong.
Because well, it looks bad for the party,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Um, Politically, it it I think is a so there's politically, if you're an authoritarian, I get why you want to do this.
Yeah.
However, pragmatically, if you want to run a government, I feel like it's better to let people talk about shit. So like I think from a pragmatic standpoint, it doesn't make sense to close all discussion for something like that. So I'm distressed that the Chinese are going down this path of not just authoritarianism, but like not really smart authoritarianism also. But where am
They're
I
not
even going with this discussion? I
they're
guess
not what was your point?
my point is censorship's bad? I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, you think about it. Okay, so you and I have sat on many boards in our life, correct?
I have been on one board.
Okay, so have I, but actually two. I sat on two,
Oh,
and
two boards. Sorry, I've been on two boards.
yeah,
I wouldn't call that many, but I've been on two
but
boards.
it's more than one, but
More
less
than
than
one,
more,
less than
but less.
many.
Yeah. So for me, I can tell you, there is just so much discussion that you can have. You need, for me, I want, okay, let's talk about it for like 2 days. I'm cool with 2 days, but then make a damn decision. Make a damn decision. That I'm an action person. I'm a, that's my character. I like work. I like to do work. I don't like to talk. Okay, give me what you want. Okay, I'll give it to you. Just don't talk about it for freaking like 3, 4 weeks. I don't know how people can do that. I really don't.
I don't know. Where are we going with this? How does this pertain to Ghostbusters?
Censorship. And well, I said there was this one person podcast who always knows
They always know.
history, the answers, like Dustin in Stranger Things. He's
Yeah,
like,
and
you
so
can't.
what ends up happening is there's always that group of people who they're like, oh, we know this thing. We know it, right? And they're talking about it, talking about it. And it takes 4 little kids to drive a car around with a fucking ray gun shooting his shit to really, like,
Do something.
cause action to happen. And I
Why are we giving kids little laser guns to play with too? Like, why are we putting that on kids to
why are
change?
we putting that on children?
Yeah,
But
why
we are. The thing is, we are. Right? As a society, we are. I mean, Greta Thunberg, I believe is how you pronounce the name.
Okay, I
Greta
believe you.
Thunberg gets up in front of the UN and like blasts their faces off with fucking logic, and afterwards, it's like I mean, she's got her little logic bombs coming out of her brain, right?
Her proton pack.
Her proton pack, and afterwards people are like, well, let's discuss this more. Let's go to Oslo or some shit and like talk about how we're going to maybe make some changes. So I mean, like I feel like Ghostbusters was trying to make a larger point, maybe through thematic kind of stuff, but it fell flat for me because it didn't
Yeah.
extend it all the way. Like
Yeah.
I need my symbolism
Yeah.
to come cresting to a head. Like
Yeah.
I need it to be actually look at this, like totally blown out and like hand, like
Yeah.
laser hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I need like the meaning of it to be kind of laid out there on a plate for me so that I can go on a show like this and say, look, this is really about this. Because right now I can say this stuff, but I think the director would be like very justified in saying I wasn't thinking that at all. When creating this piece, I was just like I wanted something with different themes entirely. But frankly, we as fans get to choose what the themes are and the things that we appreciate. So this is where I'm going with it right now.
I mean, like for me, I see what you're saying. I can see it looking back on. Oh yeah, you're right. There are so many layers to that movie. But for me, if you are, like I said, if you are going to bring back most of the characters from the original series, that movie, you need to bring back all of them.
Yeah, if you're going to go for the fan service, all in, guys.
We want Rick Moranis back, man. You know, come on.
Yeah, I think...
I hate it when movies do that. They bring back like 6 out of like the 7 characters on the original movie set or something. And sometimes you can't because they die or
there's some reason.
But,
maybe they're engaged at something else, but it's like, why don't you just squeeze them in somehow? You've got green screens.
Yeah, or just, make a mention of, like Annie Potts' character. Oh, I live with Lewis and he's watching our cats now or something like that, something.
Yeah. I would have liked to see some fan service for it, but on the other hand, I will say this: as soon as Bill Murray got on screen, I was like, "Uh-oh, is he gonna do a Bill Murray?" And he kind of did. He kind of did. He did one of those things where he's like just saying stuff, and I was like, "Was that supposed to be a joke?" I mean, Bill Murray's usually really good at that sort of thing, but as he's gotten older, he started to become more grouchy.
Well, you know what? Being around older people, and which is funny because I got to talk to one of my friends over the phone, and you talking about him, and he's like, "Don't you dare call me boomer." And I'm like, "I'm not going to call you a boomer. Why would I do that?"
Oh, just leave it to me.
But for me, it's like, you know, I hang out with older people, and I always find that they're grumpy. And I actually asked, my husband, I said, why are you, why are you grumpy? He goes, when you get older, you have a license and a duty to be grumpy.
All right, which is a great segue. Which is a great segue. Are you ready to talk about Stranger Things in the water now, or do you want to?
I am so ready.
All right. Cool, cool, cool.
I'm going to let you go first, eat one,
Oh, are you really?
because I know that you probably cannot outdo
I,
my story.
I'm pretty sure I can't. But mine's not even necessarily an unusual thing to find in the water. Sadly, it is highly disgusting, and I consider it strange. I wanted to talk about it just briefly from just a societal aspect because I have a pet peeve that goes along with the fact that I found this in the water. All right, and I'm gonna take credit right now, not for finding it myself. Some of the kids so we were doing one of the beach cleanup days that we do sometimes,
Yes.
and this was not found by me. I was performing the referee duty at the time, and
You were supervised.
I was supervising the kids who were doing the beach cleanup, and I was trying to gather stuff as well. But I did not grab this particular item, but
Okay.
we as a team found it in the water. Plastic bottle full of, we believe, urine. Okay, so gross, undoubtedly. Why? All right. So a couple things here. Couple things here. Just okay. First of all, it had its cap on.
What?
Okay. Did you wait? You saw this, right? You
Yes.
all right. All right.
I
Just
had to throw it away.
let me deconstruct this for a second. It's got its cap on. So you pee in the bottle. You put the cap on, presumably because you had to do this somewhere, I'm assuming on the road. I'm assuming you work in a car or a vehicle or truck or something, and you have to pee, and you can't get, for whatever reason, to a bathroom. Or you're homeless. But why would a homeless person pee in a container? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean to say you're
It does,
homeless and you're living in a tent shelter kind of area. So
yeah.
I'm assuming this is a driver, a person who's driving professionally, and they can't find fucking bathroom. So problems here. First of all, why don't you uncap it and just pour it out in the ocean? It's just the ocean. I mean, if you're gonna stick it in there in a plastic container anyway, like just don't throw the entire container. Like
Get
just
the water.
recycle the container or throw it in the trash. Like there are trash cans. First of all, there are trash cans, obviously,
And there's bathrooms too.
and there are bathrooms. But I know, sometimes it's next to impossible to find a bathroom you can use, especially these days. It feels like our cities and our states do not do a good job providing enough public bathrooms and enough security or oversight. I'm going to use the term oversight of the bathrooms, right?
Okay.
Bathrooms need oversight. They need someone there to kind of go, hey, is this dirty? Are you drawing on the walls? Fucking stop that. Like we need, especially in San Diego, we need more public utilities, namely bathrooms, for everybody. And I'm not just talking about homeless folks, people who drive for work, women who might be walking around and pregnant and just need to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom right now, old people who need to go to the bathroom right now, me, because I need to go to the bathroom right now sometimes, and I need a toilet.
Kids.
Kids, like there are literally 100% of people who need a bathroom like in the next couple hours. 100% of people will need a bathroom in the next couple hours. Small group of people in the hospital who are on like a
Yeah.
catheter right
Oh
now,
God.
but still using a bathroom indirectly because that catheter has to be empty.
Yeah.
100% of people. Fun fact.
I mean,
We need more bathrooms.
how many times have we been in the boat and we've been in the middle of practice and we're like, oh, damn, we actually have to go to the bathroom and we don't want to hoolie. We don't want to go in the water because it's cold at night
It's
sometimes.
cold.
I mean, but yeah, like, I mean, okay, now I'm
Sorry, that was my
assuming,
rant.
no,
I'm done now. I'll back off.
no,
You can
no,
continue the rant if you
no.
want.
I'm assuming that the person who used the bottle was a man.
I I was
Because
thinking about that, and I was wondering
women, we're
what would
not,
a woman do? Because
we
it's possible for a man to do it. A woman, I think it's also possible.
there's more limber, positioning, wise to do.
I mean, you would definitely have to get
Yeah,
out of the car.
we'd have to get out of a
Whereas a guy
car.
might not even have to get out. Like if it was a truck and it had a big bed, you might not have to
Yeah,
get out.
but this is just, I mean, the fact that they used a bottle, I'm assuming it was a guy. Now, the fact
What would
that
a
they
woman
didn't
use?
empty, probably a bigger cup.
Something with a bigger opening? Because this was like a
Yeah,
Dasani bottle. This was like a
yeah,
bottle that had
no,
like
no.
your
We'd
usual
probably
sort of inch wide.
we'd probably use a bigger, bowl size cup, like the to go bowls that you put the lid on. I
But
don't know.
splashing.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, now I don't want to be disgusting, but when I don't have time to run up to the bathroom when we're in the OC1, I'll go in the water. That's what we're taught to
Well,
do.
swimmers do that in the ocean all the time. I mean, that's
Yeah, and you're just splashing yourself, and then you get back on. But the fact that they took time to pee in a bottle, that and put the cap back on, like you said, they could
well,
have
it means
emptied out the bottle.
it implies they were driving with it for a while before they got somewhere where they disposed of it. How it got in the water, I'm not entirely sure, right? So it's possible maybe it could have been carried there by by another intermediary, or like
Yeah,
so a lot of trash that gets dumped in the waterways is actually carried there by birds. A lot of people don't
yes.
realize this. They're like, well, I never dump my shit in the waterway. No, you put it in a
Put it in
trash
the
can,
trash.
and then a fucking
Bird,
those animals
seagull,
with
yeah.
claws come and grab it, and then they like drop it in the water for, I don't know, because they're dicks.
I don't know. So mine is I don't understand. So my story is on the lines of yours, but unlike a bottle, I found a Ziploc bag full of paper towels. Okay, and
Oh, I think I
thought
sense where this is going.
I thought it was just normal, because it was like it wasn't cleanup day, but I had the kids, say, I always tell the kids now if they pick up X number of uh, pieces of trash in the water, they don't have to do, so many sprints or something like that.
You're a bad coach. You want them to do the sprints. That's not a punishment.
Well,
Sprints are
I al-
awesome.
I also saved like 10 of them so they could do sprints. So I'm just like, so I make the number like
You
absorbent.
make the number. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't let her.
Don't litter.
Don't tell them our plans. That's funny.
So,
That's funny. No,
so
but they do a great job picking
yeah,
stuff up when they can.
they are awesome. So I pick up somebody said, Coach Nay, I couldn't get that Ziploc bag. I was like, no, I see it. I'll get it. No worries. Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I pick it up and I didn't see what was inside it because it was wrapped, all you saw was the white and it was closed. So I put it in, in the back of my boat and we go in and
Yeah.
then one of the kids was having rudder issues. So I said, well, let's go to shore. We'll switch boats. So as I'm getting out of my boat, I threw the Ziploc bag because the person from Sup Connection came down. It wasn't our other coach, but I don't know who it was. And I threw it on shore and I said, can you throw this away? And as I threw it away, it landed and opened.
Oh
And,
no.
and he said, ew. And I go, what? And he picked it up on the other side. Nowhere to lie. You can see like poop, diarrhea, everything. And I'm just like, are you saying that I had a bag, a Ziploc bag full of shit in my boat? I literally carried a Ziploc bag full of shit in my boat. I'm like, that's probably the most disgusting thing I have ever had in my boat, not counting the dismembered, faded, water faded doll parts that I find in the ocean all the time.
Oh my. So again, uh, there are toilets available, and if you're going to bag or bottle your urine or poop, and if you then throw that either on the street, which then will wash down to the waterway, or if you throw that into a waterway, eventually it will find its way to the ocean or a lake, and someone like us is going to pick it up, hopefully, before it gets to the fucking Channel Islands where it washes up on shore someday. And I mean, wow, that's disgusting.
Yes, a Ziploc bag of shit. Think about the amount of time that they had to do this.
Well, how big was it one of the sandwich bags or was it one of those like 2 gallon bags?
The 2 gallon bag.
So Nea, all right, I don't like this, but but that person planned that, and I feel bad for that person.
But
Like
they had the damn paper towels in there too.
they planned it.
I just
They
why?
planned it, and they may have planned it as an emergency precaution, again, because there are no toilets available that people can use in a lot of cases, especially late at night, especially
Uh,
like they may have planned it as an emergency thing, and I I highly doubt either of these things got just tossed into the water. More likely they were placed somewhere, like on top of a trash bin or something like that. It got knocked off by wind or something like that, and then it just
uh,
washed to the ocean like so many other things get washed to the ocean.
like
That's probably how it got there.
I mean, and I
But
would like that's like the most disgusting thing that I've seen. And I can't say it's even the weirdest thing I've
it's
seen.
not the
That's
weirdest thing. There were weird things that it's definitely the
yeah.
most disgusting.
I I I still am flabbergasted. Like there, maybe do we need to write the city? Do we need to write the city?
Well, funny you should mention that. So I have a friend who I work with on the board of directors who is running for city council of District 6.
Mm-hmm.
And when he called me to talk about running, it was one of the topics I talked to him about bathrooms. I was like, look, I know this may seem like it's a frivolous thing, but it's really, really important. And when I go to other communities
Yeah.
and when I travel, like back in the old days when we used to travel, right?
Oh God,
Um,
or Harlan, you're so old.
no, I mean back before fucking COVID.
Oh, BC.
Yeah,
Okay, BC.
BC, right? Back when I used to travel to other places, like I had a lot of respect for the cities where they actually had good public sanitation, where they
Yeah.
actually had public restrooms that you could use that were available. That like even like the city bathrooms in other cities,
Mm-hmm.
they're better. Not all of them, but San Diego's. Like the design, even the design of the, like we got a chance to go to Hawaii recently, and their beach bathrooms are so much nicer. And it's not that they're that much more expensive. The
Mm-hmm.
roofs are taller, presumably because of the weather, the
Mm-hmm.
differences in the weather there.
Yeah.
But then they have these big open airways on the top of them, so you don't feel like you're in a like you're
Yeah.
pooping in your bedroom, right? Like
Yeah.
going into these public restrooms here, you feel like you're pooping in a concrete bunker where there's
Mm-hmm.
no fresh air.
Like you
Even
don't
though
even
the
want to go
door,
in
there's
there.
not even any doors.
Yeah, like you don't even want to go in there. You're like, I'll hold it. You know.
You
You're like,
don't, yeah.
yeah.
But like there are design choices that are being made, and there are choices about these things that I
Yeah.
but
It's
yeah,
bad.
that was what I talked to him about.
It was
And of
yeah,
course we
nice.
can complain. So they're actually, so if you live in San Diego and you're watching this, San Diego, I believe, I'm not sure if it's the county or the city. I think it's the county, operates a thing called Get It Done San Diego.
Mhm.
It's an app that you can download on the Apple Store, or presumably also, I don't do Android, but I think you can also get it on Android.
Mm.
And it's a hook into their like public services request system. So for
Mhm.
example, if you see roadkill on the road, you can report that. If you see graffiti, you can report that. If you see issues with bathrooms or backed up sewage or downed trees, all that stuff has like reporting categories,
Mhm.
and you can geolocate the thing. And I actually have used it quite a lot.
Mm.
And they'll even go back later and they'll be like, yeah, we fixed that pothole or whatever. It's actually
Nice.
really cool.
Nice.
So
I mean,
highly recommend that, especially if, you have things in your area you want to take care of. It's actually a really good system. I just wish we had better bathrooms.
I wish we had showers, man. You know,
Showers would be sweet.
after you get out of, paddling or whatnot, you want showers. And some of these public restrooms that I've been at have showers.
Yeah.
I want showers.
Yeah.
But let's fix our toilet system first.
Okay. Cool. All right. Rant. Is our rant over?
I think so. I'm done talking about that part of me.
All right, our rant
I'm
is
over it.
over. So thanks for hanging with us today. If you've been hanging with us, that was today's show. Thank you for watching. Please
Yes.
like and subscribe this content. We're going to make more of it, regardless of whether you like us or not. But it definitely makes us feel better. And in the comments, tell us the craziest things you have found in the waterways.
We'd love to hear from you.
We would love to hear it. So until next time, don't hooly, and we'll see you on the land or on the water or in the water, whatever. Peace. I can't. There we go. I can't do it.
Shaka, shaka.
Shaka. Bye, everybody.